Yeah, couldn't be bothered making you an intro, so just got someone else to do it.
Good morning, Bookfighters. It's Monday.
Yes, that actually happened, and I hope you will keep the awesomeness that is that intro in mind when deciding my punishment for this week, because I did not finish the book I intended to read, which was The Crystal World by J.G. Ballard. So this book, for me, had so much promise, and I was so excited about reading it for several reasons. It's about the West African jungle, and it starts to crystallize, and it's about what that means, and most people flee because they're scared, and some people stay, and I'm not usually into things that are really heavily descriptive, but this just seemed like it was going to be really special because it's describing a crystal jungle. And the other thing that made me think it'd be really good was this quote, which they put like right before anything. It's obviously in the book somewhere. I didn't get to it, and I'm just going to read it to you because I think you'll agree. It's pretty spectacularly written. By day, fantastic birds flew through the petrified forest, and the jeweled crocodiles glittered like heraldic salamanders on the banks of the crystalline river. By night, the illuminated man raced through the trees, his arms like golden cartwheels, his head like a spectral crown. And I read that, and I thought, awesome, I'm in, I'm going to get this book, and I just hated it so much that I couldn't finish it, and it's not even very long. It's only 170 pages, so feel free to punish me, but I just couldn't finish it. It was pretty painful, and it was stupid. Like, the thing is, this author writes this book like he's just discovered the simile, and I'm going to give you a few examples. So on page 27, the captain nodded, pondering over the letter on his desk. Occasionally he prodded the tissue with a steel ruler. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not opposed to that. The problem is, he didn't just prod the tissue with a steel ruler. He prodded it as if he were examining the pressed petals of some rare and perhaps poisonous blossom. That likening made all the more ridiculous by the fact that neither this page or any other that I had read of up to this point has anything to do with flowers. My personal favourite, though, is on page 77, where the spurs in the roadway were over a foot in height, like the spines of a giant porcupine. What? Long story short, this book was supposed to come to me in 2 parts, and I only read one of them. So feel free to punish me. So everyone can leave a suggestion for a punishment. Check my first video for the punishment rules, and I will choose out of all of them and decide which one to do next week. So Katie. Lord of the Rings. So I read Lord of the Rings when I was 12, maybe 13. No, I might have been even younger than that. I remember reading it around the time I was 11 plus, actually. Anyway, I read Lord of the Rings when I was really young, and I absolutely loved it. I'm sure I probably didn't understand most of it. I'm sure it's one of them sort of skip over the words you don't understand kind of jobs when you're that age. But yeah, it struck a chord with me, and I loved it. And I was the one that brought my big copy of Lord of the Rings to school when everyone else was reading Biff and Kip, or not reading at all. In fact, I still have that. I'll go and get it. Here it is. This is the one, and I've had this for about 10 years now. And yeah, so I love Lord of the Rings. I really love Lord of the Rings, and I assume I probably have a very similar experience with it, like you have. And what I said in my video when I was talking about Game of Thrones was that I enjoyed Game of Thrones a lot more as an example of storytelling, but I recognise that Lord of the Rings is more profound and more groundbreaking, and it is. And I completely agree with everything you said. What we have, or what Lord of the Rings gave us, were the archetypes for these mythical creatures. If you play a game of Dungeons and Dragons now, I'm not sure you ever have, but I have, and the characters you play with, the elves and the dwarves, they're all stem from the fiction of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, there was mythology, and there was other things that came before that, but Lord of the Rings really moulded the archetypes of these fictional fantasy characters, and I mean, I'm thankful for that, because without that, there is a lot of stuff we wouldn't have today. So I like the idea of asking questions and getting to know each other, and I think, Katie, since you've taken the reins on this, you could lead that for at least a few weeks. And if you, on your Thursday videos, pose maybe the question of the week, and then we can all answer it, and we can just go around in a cycle like that. That'd be really cool. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. We can come out with some other method. But I think for now, if you take that up, I've really enjoyed your questions so far, and I've enjoyed answering them and doing the personality test, and I love the discussion that the Lord of the Rings stuff brought up. So if you could carry on doing that for now, that'd be great, and the project would be better for it. So this week I could only be reading Paper Towns by John Green. I have read Looking for Alaska, and that book really now holds a special place in my heart. I love it. I fell in love with that book like Miles fell in love with Alaska, and I hope I will do the same to Paper Towns. Okay, Bookfighters, goodbye, and I'll see y'all soon.